Hey, it's Kevin. Welcome back to another No BS social media chat. Today we're talking about your audience, understanding your audience, knowing your audience. You know, it's interesting in what I do on the music business side when I work with clients. I've worked with established artists who've had multiple number one hits on the country music charts, who've had 20, 30-year long music careers and really gotten them into and kind of dipped their toe in the water of social media. I've kind of helped some of them build their social media presence, and then I work with newcomers, brand new artists, new to the country music format, who are trying to find their way. And what's interesting is when you're talking to different demographics of people, when you're talking to different groups of people, you have to understand the audience. Recently I worked with a group of young, early 20-somethings, a band, and their audience, again, teens, early 20s, it's understanding how to talk to the audience. I've also, again, worked with established artists, established bands, established brands in the country music genre who, have had a dozen number one hits or 10 number one hits or whatever it was, who are talking more to an older crowd, to a more female predominant crowd, maybe 25 on the young end, but more realistically, 35, 45, 55 years old. You can't sell the same exact message to those people. It takes me back to when I was in radio. One of the things we always preached in radio was if you have something, whether it's a contest, whether it's an upcoming concert, whatever you're talking about, whatever the disc jockey's talking about, you may have to say it in 2 or 3 different ways over the course of time to get it to connect with people. Everybody's brain works differently in what they respond to. Think about it. Some people like horror movies. Some people like to be scared, and some people don't. Well, you can have a scary message that the horror movie crowd would enjoy, where people who only like comedies wouldn't. And so, and that's a very extreme example. But in terms of how people's brain works, you have to realize that the same message, the same content, needs to be shared in a multitude of different ways to get people to engage with it. So sometimes you have to do 2 or 3 different ways. So and I'll tell this to clients all the time. If you want to get them to visit your website, don't go, hey, got some really cool updates on our website. Go visit wxyz.com, because some people just aren't even going to pay attention to that. You've got to give them a reason to go. So you've got to give them a different thing. Have you seen the new video? Have you seen the new T-shirt we've got in the store? Have you seen the pictures of my grandchildren? Whatever it happens to be, you've got to give them a reason to go over. Oh, I love pictures of grandchildren. Or have you seen the funny cat video I did with my cat? If you do something like that. So think about it. The people who like funny cat videos on the internet will respond to something saying, hey, I've got a funny cat video, go watch it on my website, versus just saying, hey, go to my website, I've got videos on there. It's all about how you present it. So you have to understand your audience. You have to understand what makes them tick. I have artists come to me all the time who are wanting to connect on new social media networks, but they don't understand how to do that. They don't understand the nuance of the networks. I talk Instagram to a lot of clients these days because I'm seeing the benefits of how you can build a fan base on Instagram. But there's a strategy that has to go with it. And if you're not willing to work in the strategy, you're going to be frustrated. I've seen a lot of, and I talked about this last week about a lot of internet marketing people. They were talking about Instagram, and they're having a hard time with some of the businesses they were working with connecting with people. And I just kind of chuckled because people don't want to constantly be hyped. I follow a lot of pizza shops. I like pizza, I like tacos, so I happen to engage with a lot of them, and I have friends who work at these shops, and I made friends who work for these businesses. I don't do their social media for them, but they sometimes have employees do the social media, or they sometimes have small little firms who specialize in small businesses do their social media. And the one thing I constantly remind them of is, don't just ask me to like your pictures, engage with me. You have to go back and like other people's pictures. I spend time every day going through my personal Instagram, through my business Instagram, and liking the pictures of the people who follow me, things that interest me. And if I feel like I need to comment on them, I will comment on them, whether it's from my business page, the Intensity Media page, whether it's from my personal page, the Kevin Mason page, whatever it is, because the social connection is the most important part. Think about it. In all these videos, we keep talking about social connection. That's the key to social media and succeeding in social media. To get to that point, you truly have to understand your target audience. Who is that idea? When I was in radio, we always used to have this visual of the 28, 30-year-old female with a couple of kids who worked, not a full-time job, but 3/4 of a job because she had to take the kids, or whatever the visual for this. And we had a picture of this person in the studio usually to give the personalities on the air a reminder of who they were talking to when they opened up a microphone. Well, think about that for your social media. Who are you talking to? an idea who that is. Is it a young person? Is it an older person? Is it a mom? Is it a dad? Is it a grandparent? I don't care what your business is. I don't care what you use social media for. If you have a strategy, you have to understand the general audience first. Then we can get into specifics. Next week, another No BS social media video. NoBSSocial.com. No BS Social on our YouTube page as well. Would love to connect with you. IntensityMedia.com, our website as well. My phone number, my email address, they're coming up. Let's connect. Thanks.